What's up, guys? This is Chris here, and today, man, we have an interesting gun for you. Today we're going to be going over a Keltec. This is the brand new Keltec 57. This is a very interesting design that is a departure from almost everything you probably know about semi-automatic handguns. It has trigger, it has sights, and then everything else gets a little weird. Now, the Keltec 57 made quite a splash at SHOT Show this year. There was a lot of influencers talking about how good it was, and as I look at the gun, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing, so I figured I would buy one and shoot it for you guys myself. Now, we did pick this gun up, and it was relatively affordable, which we'll talk about here in a minute. First things first, while I was down here, I was trying to clear the gun, and I kept looking for a magazine release that doesn't exist because it doesn't run magazines. It runs a clip system, sort of like M-block clips from an M1 Garand. Now, we already have some pre-loaded up here in the clips that come with the gun, and as you can see here, they are very similar stripper clips. We set the gun in there like that, push the little tab down, and load the internal magazine. Now, that is a interesting and inconvenient design, so hopefully that comes with some pros that I'm not seeing currently. Now, the awesome part about this gun is it's stupid light. Like a lot of Keltec things, there's a lot of innovation here. 20 rounds in the gun for 13 ounces is pretty impressive. 4-inch barrel. Now we have fixed sights. They're literally molded, it looks like, into the slide, but we do have a roll pinned on a red dot mount, it looks like back here. And then instead of the standard screws that Keltec does, we have roll pins, which should theoretically hold a little more firm. So hopefully we don't have quite as many failure points. Now, as far as the trigger system goes, we run a double action trigger, which is very interesting. So not only is it a double action trigger, but it also doesn't have double strike capability. Even though it's got a big long trigger pull, you actually have to recycle it to get your big long trigger pull back. So not a thing I'm in love with right off the bat. So there's a couple things I like about it, the lightweight, and probably going to be very low recoil because the 5.7 cartridge is very low recoil. Got a high capacity, and it's got an affordable price. But it's got some features on it that we're gonna have to try to get used to today. So before we do that, I do wanna mention my Patriots supporters. Thank you guys very much. You guys bought this gun, and you guys get to watch me suffer. If you wanna support the channel, that's always the best way to do it. Just go down to the link in the description below and sign up. Also in that description is a link to a local shelter in Ames, Iowa. It's the YSS. Those kids could really use your support. Without further ado, let's find out. All right, this is gonna be my first attempt at this. So it looks like we put the latch underneath here, we connect the two, and it looks like we press the rounds down into it. Hey, we do. Okay. All right, so we got 10 rounds loaded in the gun. I'm gonna just try this the way it is. We're at 50 yards. Well, I can tell you Keltec knows how to mold the sight. Because, I mean, if this was off, we were fucked. Okay. That'll take some getting used to. Do you see all the false trigger resets? So the trigger resets like a revolver, right? So what happens with a revolver is that you don't ride the reset check and make sure my clip is clear. When you pull the trigger and you're trying to reset the gun, you really do have to like literally go all the way out to reset. It's a cool gun, but that's the worst semi-automatic trigger I've ever had. All right, so now let's say you were in a gunfight and you have expended your 20-round magazine. Well, luckily for you, you have another clip to load it like you're in the trenches. So we'll load it again.
Good thing you got
lose our little tab here. This tab falls out, so we don't want to lose that. We'll stow our clip, kind of, and we'll shoot again. Holy shit. I hit the post.
Nice.
Well, I can't hit the plates, but I can hit the little targets at 50 yards, which is actually pretty impressive. I mean, to be honest with you, this doesn't look like a sight setup that would be very accurate, but a man-sized target at 50 yards is really all you need for a carry gun, so that's not bad.
Here we are, loading with Bubba.
Oh, goodness.
Bubba, how do you load it?
Well, first you start with a simple teaspoon of bullshit. You top it off with a little bit of tomfoolery.
Definitely an improvement over a magazine, huh, Bubs?
Yeah.
Isn't it? I think that's convenient.
Who doesn't love clips,
Except
right?
if you have a malfunction, or if you don't want to shoot all the rounds in the mag, you get to eject them all with the slide. I haven't even got to that yet. Because if you push all those rounds in the gun, I never even thought about that till right now. You push all those rounds in the gun, how the f do you get them out? Because like an M1 Garand's got a button, right? But this doesn't. So you're gonna have to run the slide every single round to get all the rounds out. So your capacity might be a con at that point.
Is it lefty friendly?
No, it is not.
Okay. Lefties. Note.
Oh man,
What happened on that first shot?
that's odd.
I'm not trying to call you out at all, but your first shot hit the ground like 30 feet in front of us. Like it hit the
Man,
ground and skipped up into the berm.
Aiming for the back one there.
Oh, were
Like,
you
I was
really?
just,
Was it that trigger pull that pulled you down, or did the gun do that?
I think it was the trigger pull.
Okay, I didn't know what happened. I was waiting for the target. I mean, you normally shoot really good. So I didn't fucking, the first round literally was like 30 feet from the target.
This just feels so, like I got a big palm. I don't have long fingers.
Yeah. And it's a small grip for a
And
big gun. Like it's a thin grip. You're getting the hang of it though. Oh, you're kind of like short loading it. You're not doing it from the top.
Right.
I got
If
you.
you put it in there at like an angle,
Yeah.
with like the back end first, then the front slides in really easy.
Okay. Yep.
I'm gonna break
Got
a
one
nail.
of 10.
I'm gonna break a nail.
Here,
And
let me do
then
the rest.
Quinn
Let me do
is
the rest.
gonna get mad at me.
Yeah.
Don't break my nails.
You would have
Okay.
broke your nail.
Yeah, I don't want to break
The
my
nail
nail.
breaker, the 5.7.
Now what do I do?
Believe in yourself.
Oh my god. It is an interesting grip.
Jesus shit, that hit me in the face.
Where are they going?
It's low, right? It's that wonderful trigger that's screwing you. I don't think you've hit one yet. There you go. Yep. Nice.
Okay.
It's a learning curve to that trigger.
Well, the recoil isn't bad. I
No,
will
the
say
recoil's
that.
not bad.
I will say that. Am I not hitting anything?
You're low. You're low. All those were low. So what
I need a
happened
red
was
dot.
Heavy
You should've
trigger,
put the
right?
dot on
Come
it.
over here a minute. Heavy trigger pull when you don't have a super solid grip on the gun because the grip's a little slippy. What happens is you're on target, and when you start to pull the trigger, you start to pull the sights low. And that's what keeps happening. The sights keep rocking low. Either that, or you're anticipating the recoil and you're squeezing the gun low with your left hand.
I wasn't doing any of that. It's all the gun.
I hit from 50 yards the first shot.
It's all the gun.
Went in pretty
Oh, you got
far.
him in there. It went in pretty easy.
Nice.
That sucks. I hit that popper twice, I think. Didn't go anywhere. The ejection pattern on this is phenomenal. Every once in a while it'll sail one straight forward. A couple times it'll go backward. Sometimes it'll go right up in the air. Who knows? It's all the same ammo, by the way. It's all Fiocchi. Are you going for the popper?
Yeah.
Oh, you just left. You just left. Hit it. Just left. Just right. There you
Man,
go.
I am not doing good.
Well, you hit one. Nice. Thoughts?
You know what I realized during shooting this? Like taking up some of the trigger first and then like being where I want to be helped out so much.
It's called staging the trigger. That's what I'm doing too. I just forgot to tell you guys it's a revolver technique.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a dick.
No, that's
You
all right.
Set me up to fail.
You learn shit on your own, right?
I can't know everything, but yeah, like, so what he means is empty gun. When you have the gun, you pull it almost to the rear, like that, and I set it off. You pull it almost to the rear, stage it, get your good sight picture, squeeze a little bit, and take it off. What people do with double action only revolvers, like if you have a double action only concealed carry gun and you're trying to hit it 25 yards, you gotta stage the trigger. All right, well, the Keltec PR57 was an interesting gun. In some ways, better than I expected, and in some ways, exactly what I expected. The gun itself has the build quality of a Mattel toy, which I expected from Keltec. That being said, it is innovative, which is also what I expected from Keltec. Now, the gun itself sort of looks like a sewer drain up top, but it does have good texture. It actually does work. That is very simple and really effective, so I gotta give them props for that. Second thing with the molded sights I was very concerned about. As it turns out though, at least mine were on. I mean, I was able to hit even C-zone targets at 50 yards, so the sights definitely did what they were supposed to do. We have a rail at the bottom here for a light or a laser, which is cool. You can use it for home defense if you want. We have optics mounting system here with a roll pin, which I didn't mess with, but I will for the review. If you're wondering why my hands are so muddy, it's because I also did the Springfield today, and we did a mud test on that. So if you haven't watched that yet, go watch that. But I didn't clean off because we're still outside. Now, the trigger system is interesting. I would say probably the second worst part about the gun. Now, the trigger is a double action only trigger, and you pull the trigger, it breaks all the way back here, very similar to like a double action SIG 226 or something like that. But instead of getting a crisp single action after that, you have to go all the way back out to the reset and hit it again. Now, the downside of that obviously is rate of fire. And so your rate of fire is going to be incredibly diminished by the length of the trigger. Unless you're Jerry Mitchell, like you're not shooting double action only that fast. The second thing that it does is cause user-induced malfunctions. So what I mean by that is I'm shooting the gun and I pull the trigger and the round goes off. The second time I shoot the gun, since I'm so used to shooting any other semi-automatic pistol on earth, I try to reset the trigger and it doesn't work. I get nothing here. I got to go all the way back out and do it again. You get that false reset and you end up kind of jamming that trigger with nothing happening. That is not a deal breaker, especially if you have one gun, you'll be used to that reset. So you could definitely make that work. Add that to the positives of it only being 13 ounces, being very, very tiny, which is nice. I mean, it's not a small gun. You definitely couldn't pocket carry this, but as far as the weight goes, it's very, very lightweight. And for a capacity of 20 rounds, that's respectable. Where I feel like the gun goes off the rails is this right here. Now, originally when I saw this gun at SHOT Show, I thought it was because it was California compliant. I was like, internal magazine, that's good, right? Because you get 20 rounds in Cali, but you can't do that.
To make it thinner and lighter.
Oh, I got you. Okay,
cool. And it's still not California compliant.
Oh,
it's
I got
not
you.
even remotely California compliant.
At least from what I know right now. You might correct me in this video, but I don't think this is any more compliant than a standard magazine fed gun. And where the downsides come in is number one, you don't have a magazine. And magazines are a very useful tool. And why all other semi-automatic handguns use magazines is because of number one, the reload is much quicker. Yep.
I'm gonna break a nail.
1 of 10.
I'm gonna break a nail.
Number two, when you carry a magazine with ammunition in it, you use the magazine and then dispose of the magazine. So you don't have to keep these things and like reload them in your pocket or anything like that. And the third thing is if you have a malfunction in the gun, I have no idea how you'd even clear the malfunction. Maybe lock the slide back and try to make it work, push the internal magazine down. But on top of that, if you want to unload the gun, you have to literally unload it by racking the slide over and over and over again because there's no like unload process because there's an internal magazine. Now, the biggest problem with this is not even those mild inconveniences. The biggest problem is that it's just a pain in the ass to load the thing. So you have to load them in the clips first, just like you would load a magazine, but it's harder to load the clips. And on top of that, then you have to push them down into the gun, which a magazine is so much easier to load and rack really quickly than this thing is to use. And then if you also have a magazine, you don't lose this little tab right here, which you can easily lose with these things. So honestly, I feel like I shot this and it's an interesting gun. And if you want to buy it because it's like a piece of trash history, then I guess go ahead. You might have a reason for this. You might really want a pseudo pocket gun with 20 rounds of 5.7. If that's the case, then this is really the only game in town. Very light, very small, and 5.7 has a very low recoil. So even though the trigger kind of sucks, it's still easy to shoot because it's a very low recoil impulse. 13 ounces and having that low recoil impulse is very impressive. There's some impressive things about the gun, but overall I feel like the operation pretty much just deads all those things in the water for me. I feel like you made the gun 15 ounces even, add 2 more ounces and make it magazine fed, that gun would be an excellent gun. So I hope that they learn from this and they use the same sort of idea to make a very lightweight, high capacity magazine. But if you even downloaded me to 18 rounds and gave me magazines, I'd be much happier. It's an okay gun, it's just not for me. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please support your local homeless shelters and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.